Hello, cuties! Today we'll be talking about how to build and deploy a basic website. We're going to be using Next.js and GitHub Pages. This is not like an in-depth coding tutorial. I'm going to assume you know the basics of a lot of things. I am your cool senior engineer, and you are my new hire, and I am walking you through the code base and giving you the tools to explore on your own. I had 3 goals with this template. 1, to have all the basic Next.js development tools, styling, and deployment scheme all set up ready for me to use. 2, have it be mobile and desktop compatible. And 3, have all the data stored in a separate file so it's easily editable and allows me to programmatically reuse components. In this video, I will walk you through how the deployment works, the example code and what exactly is in the template, and then we will make our own example website using the template dedicated to the cutest animals, bats. All the example code is available on GitHub under Coding for Cuties. The repo name is Basic Website Template. To make a copy of the template to use yourself, simply click Use this template in the top right corner. The way the deployment works is by creating 2 GitHub actions. A build step that creates the deployable version of your Next.js app and saves it as an artifact to reference later, and a deploy step that takes that artifact and makes it available at a public endpoint. To create this, I just copied the repo and followed the instructions from the Deploy GitHub App Pages template from the official Next.js repo. Under the folder GitHub/workflow, we have the deploy.yaml file that creates and defines our GitHub actions. To tell GitHub to then use these actions to deploy to the GitHub Pages endpoint, we go into Settings, Pages, and set GitHub Pages source to GitHub action. It will then pick up the artifact created by deploy.yaml. The page will be output at your GitHub username.github.io/the repo name. You can also go into the Actions tab and see your deploy at work. Here, you can see all the workflows of when the GitHub action was triggered. Here's a build step, and then here's the deploy step. Let's see what the website looks like on the hosted version. Here is the basic website template. It's pretty simple. It's meant for something like a personal website or a portfolio or something where you just need static image and text. Each of these sections is populated by data from the data file. This allows me to easily make changes to the information without having to edit a bunch of React code. Also, it's all mobile compatible. Let's see how this is all working in our code base. To run it locally, we're going to use the command npm run dev. This is predefined from our template and is pretty standard for Next.js projects. This will build a version of our project that we can see on localhost 3000, and we can check any local changes here before deploying. Next, I'll walk you through the most important parts of this template. There's a lot of config files, and we're not going to go through all of them because they were set up in the Next.js template. One thing that I did add to the package JSON that's different than the base code is Tailwind in Daisy UI. Tailwind is a CSS framework which provides tons of classes for common things so you don't have to write your own. Daisy UI is also a CSS framework that actually uses Tailwind, and we probably technically don't need both as they serve very similar functions. But Tailwind puts all of its component examples behind a paywall. So I used Daisy UI for some layout components and app bar, but still kept Tailwind because I'm referencing some basic classes. Here in our public folder, we have all our images, as well as the custom font, and then the main functionality is under the app UI folder. The layout component serves the page component, and then the page component serves all the other components that we've built. This is a single page app, and the way that I'm doing this is with a data object and React context. If we look at website data TS, we have an object with an array type page data and the website title. Page data is a custom type, so in other projects I've changed to required other things, but in here I have image, title, and page content. I could have just made page content a string, but I decided to make a React node so I can put other things besides text in the page if I want. If we go in the Pages folder, we can see each of the sections' React code. I'm formatting some text, I'm adding some buttons. In here, I'm serving an image gallery. The page and the navigation bar are all populated by this data, so it makes it easy for me to add or remove things. The site knows which page data to serve at which time through the React context. I save the current page index as a state. This will then correlate to an item in my page data array. Then, when I click an item in the navigation bar, this updates this context state into the new index, which changes the page data I am showing. React contexts are actually super useful because instead of having to pass props down through a long line of components just to get it to the child component, or as we call it in the biz, prop drilling, instead I'm wrapping the page in page index context provider and then calling this provider and the components I need. A few other items worth noting. Page content TSX is my main page component. You can see here I'm pulling information from both the context and the website data to show the correct thing. Menu.ts is the navigation bar that holds both the desktop and the mobile versions of the app bar. This is all copy and pasted from Daisy UI. I can't take much credit for this one. Finally, we have our styling in our global CSS. Because I'm using both Tailwind and Daisy UI, I have a ton of built-in classes, so I don't have a ton to do here, but I use it as a central place to control the colors and my custom font. Now, let's see how one might customize this website for their own needs. This is the fun part, everyone. We're going to take this template and we're going to make a website dedicated to bats. Have you seen bats? They're so cute. They're tiny. Oh my goodness. Look at his face. I'm pulling images and text from batcon.org for this example. First, I'm going into website data and changing all the titles. We're going to go with About Bats, Photos, and Fun Facts. I'm also renaming the website to I Love Bats. I'm just literally going to copy and paste this text from here. Let's go pull some bat fun facts. Oh, yeah. You know, maybe here, instead of external link, we have learn more, donate. This is all edited now. Excellent, excellent. Okay, let's go get some cool pictures of bats to add. I'm just saving them from the website into my public/image folder and then updating all the image file names and alt text descriptions in the code. For this page, this should be a list and it's not. So let's go fix that. Let's use ULUI. Our list is here, but it doesn't have any styling. So let's look in Tailwind to see what styling we can add that might be helpful. This is interesting. So this is annoying. I have my margin set correctly here, but because the list application of Tailwind is to put it outside the margin, it's running into this. Tailwind, margin, let's look. Oh yeah, there we go. For our last step, let's change the colors and the fonts. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove my font that I had put on here. And then for my primary, secondary color, I'm gonna go for like a green, maybe? Let's go green, yellow, green. That could be fun. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at him. Mobile compatible. Look at that. Look at them. They're so cute. This one's a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. But the rest of them are very cute. And that's how you build a bat website. But wait. Let's not forget to check our website for web accessibility. Wave is a great tool I'd recommend for spotting accessibility errors. The template itself should allow accessible navigation, but you'll still want to make sure to write your alt text for each image and check your colors for contrast. Here, I didn't have very good contrast, so I went into the contrast checker to decide a new color. I adjusted it till it passed all the tests, updated it in my CSS file, and then it passed Wave inspection. If you want to see this code for any reason, it's a branch in the repo called I Love Bats. As a special treat, I'll show you something I already made for myself with this template, a GeoCities themed personal website. To do this, I removed the app bar and the page index logic since I wanted it all to be on one page, and then just styled it like a website from the 1990s, complete with a tasteful amount of GIFs. Hopefully this gives you more ideas on what you can do with this template. I hope you learned something new or useful. If you build something cool, let me know. Bye! Coding for Cuties is made by cuties for cuties, and aims to create fun and approachable educational content surrounding software and technology. Subscribe if you want to see more.